everyone. Welcome to our first edition of the Jen and Jeff Show, where we give common sense career advice for young professionals. I'm with the owner today of Right Recruiting LLC, Jeff Zinser. Thanks for being here, Jeff.
You're welcome, Jen.
Now, Jeff, we've gotten many requests for advice on salary negotiations. Is that a stressful process for candidates?
Yes, it's very stressful. One of the first things we're taught when we're growing up is there are two things you don't talk about in public. One is sex and the other is money, and salary negotiations is basically all about money. It's akin to somebody walking up to you on the street that you've never met and asking you what kind of money you make. Generally, barriers would go up and you get very tense. To a lot of people, that's what salary negotiations is exactly like.
Now, what are components of a salary?
Okay, good question. Usually when people talk about salary, they say, here's the kind of money I make. I make X number of dollars, and it's a number. And then they realize they also get benefits, they also get vacation. But when you're faced with a salary offer, there are some intangible things that are part of the offer that are sometimes hidden, and you need to think about them. For example, let's take two different people. Let's take John Smith. John just got a very high salary offer from a company, but the company's not growing very quickly. And Sally Jones has gotten a lower offer, but it's to go to work for a company that's growing very rapidly. Well, they have two very different situations moving forward. John may be faced a lifetime of 2 to 3% reviews for the foreseeable future. Whereas Sally may get promoted 2 years from now. A promotion turbocharges your career and turbocharges your income. So 2 to 3 years from now, Sally may see herself with a promotion that's a 30% raise and may actually be making significantly more than John. So sometimes there's hidden parts of a salary offer that candidates really need to consider.
That's very interesting. How does a company actually decide on that salary?
The first thing a company does is when they talk about salaries and hiring people, before any candidate appears, before any resume appears, they decide the level of the person they want to hire. 1 year experience, 5 years experience, 10 years experience. Then they look around within their current company, within their organization, and they identify people who are doing similar jobs at the similar level, and that gives them the salary range. Companies are very reluctant to bring people on board at a higher level than equivalent people who are working for them now. Now, that's so important, I'd like to say that again, but in a slightly different way. Candidates usually approach interviews and offers in the attitude where the salary is about them personally. It's not. To the company, the salary is all about fairness and equity to their existing employees. The HR phrase is called internal equity. So a candidate talking about salary from a purely egocentric standpoint has a real chance of alienating an employer who is in turn looking at salary from a fairness standpoint. So you need to be careful in that regard.
When the company actually makes the salary offer, how does a candidate ask for more money?
Well, the best way to get more money is to do real well in the interview and to be very, very good at what you do and to be able to demonstrate it. The other mechanism that sometimes you can run into to get more money is to be in a situation where you've interviewed with two companies and each company makes you an employment offer. That does give the candidate some leverage, but candidates have to be very careful with that, because if they're too aggressive and they're too manipulative in that approach, they do have the potential of alienating both employers, and both employers may end up pulling their offer and leaving the candidate back at square one.
That was going to lead me to my next question. What if a company says no?
Well, candidates should recognize that it is the company that has the money, and that means the company is the person that has the power. The company is allowed to say no. Candidates are allowed to ask for more. It needs to be a reasonable request. It needs to be justifiable. But the danger is always in pushing too hard for the wrong thing. I'll give you an example from last year. We had an individual interviewed and got an offer from a client for a sales manager job. The person got an offer for $120,000, and that was significantly more than they were making at the time. They were making $100,000. She decided to go back and ask for $50 more a month in a car allowance because she wanted a better car. When the president heard that, he called the HR person and said, this person is not showing good character. It's a greedy request. We've made a fair offer, and they did rescind the offer. So candidates need to be careful with the message they're sending when they negotiate. Ask for more, ask in a polite way, but make sure it's a justifiable request.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're
that
welcome.
was very, very much valuable information.
Thank you, Jen.
Now stay tuned for our next video cast covering how, when, and why to get an MBA. If you have any questions about this video cast, please email them to me at jsherlock@genetcommunications.com or jeffzinser@rightrecruiting.com. Any final words, Jeff?
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen out there, the one thing I hope you take from this is your career is very important. Your career pays for your house, it pays for your car, it pays for your family's vacation, it pays for the college your children go to. The best way to have a good career is to excel at what you do, but you can also manage your career wisely, make smart decisions, and understand the employment process, and we're here to help you with that. Thanks for joining us.